July 15th, 2024 meeting of the Coeur d'Alene Parks and Recreation Commission. Melissa, would you get us started with roll call, please?
Commissioner Cranston,
Here.
Commissioner McDowell,
Here.
Commissioner Lean,
Here.
Commissioner Tate,
Here.
Commissioner Hill,
Here.
Commissioner Bakes, Commissioner Wood.
Here.
Okay. Jim, would you mind leading us in the Pledge of Allegiance tonight?
Surely. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Do any of the commissioners tonight have a conflict of interest declaration?
No.
Okay. Moving on to our first action item then would be approval of the April 15th, 2024 meeting minutes.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved by Commissioner Lean, second by Commissioner Tate, to approve the April 15th, 2024 meeting minutes. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. April 15th meeting minutes are approved. Okay, Bill, staff report.
Well, a few things to catch you up on. Nick and Monty and Tyler were able to complete with the Tubbs Hill Foundation's help the trailhead here at the museum. So we have 3 trailheads now. Our pizza vendor, Cadia Pizza, is our at Independence Point vendor. He's in place and he's doing well there. I know that Commissioner Wood likes going and getting ice cream out that Sugar Shack at the Atlas at vendor out
Don't
there.
call me out for being fat, Bill.
Got
It's my dogs who like it too.
We've got a coffee vendor out there as well. We had a burger guy out there for less than a week, and it wasn't penciling out. He had some other obligations, so he decided to pull up and move on.
Oh, this was good.
Mike
too.
Kempton, in June, retired, and Jared Odell took his position as lead worker here at McEwen and the entire waterfront corridor. We have, with that, a couple of vacancies in the parks, and we have a vacancy in recreation, and we have a third vacancy in parks that came across my desk last week. We've been asked to pump the brakes on all 4 of those positions until we get through the budget cycle a little bit. So just an FYI on that. I'm confident that we'll get there, but we've just been asked to hold back for a little bit of time.
Is that going to have any diminish of services?
I would think it would. That's very interesting.
You'll see a little bit of, yes, a little bit. And our folks are dedicated to the point where my biggest concern is they're going to burn themselves out because they'll put in the extra time to make it right. So we're okay. We'll get there. And that being said, I've got another note in here. We're only watering 4 days a week as it is because of water restrictions. And so you'll see that in the parks. Unfortunately, last week, we had a pump at Bluegrass go down and a pump at Lanny's go down. So it wasn't looking good, and our master valve here at this park was acting up, so this is a little bit toasty. But the waterfront, we're using here lake water, the same at Independence Point at City Park. The Riverstone Pond, we use that water, and Atlas, we use the river. So those were going to be, if people see them running more than 4 days a week, we're allowed to do that because we're not on domestic water. Right. But yeah, to answer your question, Commissioner, a little bit. I think we're doing fine. And one of our issues is that in the last 16 months or so, due to resignations, terminations, and retirements, we've lost about 10 people. So we've hired folks that we think are in key positions that we can train up, and then they might leave. So we've got all that being said, we have a pretty green staff. So we're catching our wind, and people are figuring things out, but we're doing fine. We're doing just fine.
How many are open right now, Bill?
Well, there's 2 in the parks, and there'll be 1 in recreation because of what's happening that Adam will share with you here in a bit. Okay. But I just had another resignation come across my desk for somebody that decided to go to work for the water department.
Okay.
Okay. So that's right now, between recreation and parks, it'll be a total of 4.
Okay.
And I haven't even shared the resignation yet with administration.
Okay.
So I'm assuming I'm going to ask to be pump the brakes on that one as well. Yeah.
Okay.
Let's see, Cherry Hill Pickleball tournament was last weekend. It was really a big turnout. 500 people signed up for it. 3 Canadian provinces, and I think about 5 or 6 different states were represented here in Coeur d'Alene. Most of them obviously were from the Pacific Northwest, but it was 500 was a big number for them, biggest number they've had for people signing up for the tournament.
Mr. Chair, can I ask a question?
Certainly.
Bill, is there any kind of revenue, because that's a big job for our Parks Division to take care of, is there any kind of revenue from those tournaments?
Sure, they pay their fees, yeah.
Okay.
So those revenues that we generate don't go into O&M, they mostly go back in Parks Capital.
Okay.
And so, for example, this year, we are resurfacing the courts and fixing some cracks at Ramsey Park, the 3 courts there. And so those revenues that we generate go back into that pot of money that we use for fixing stuff up.
Great.
Like, we bought that gazebo this year, so there are things that we do with those monies.
Thank you.
Yep. Cherry Hill, let's see. Mooring docks are completed. We're waiting on some LED lights to replace the antiquated ones that I installed in 2000. So yeah, that's how long ago it was. So we're getting new lights that should be shipped here. The contractor said, I think the end of this month. So we'll have some LED lights that are being installed on the new mooring docks. And we talked about that. Live at 5 will not continue. The concert series is done. Tyler Davis was unable to provide necessary stuff that he needed for our agreement, and so his agreement's been terminated. There are a few folks that are interested in continuing that series. We are going to go out to bid this winter to maybe take an RFQ to see if there's some interest in that. In the meantime, I've had a couple of folks that want to have a one-off concert this summer to carry us through, and I'm working with a couple different individuals on that. So we might have a few concerts in the next month. But we'll see what the future holds about a series here at McEwen. With that, Paula Austin retired, has it been 6 weeks now? Or has it been only 4 weeks? Been more than that. So she retired 42 years with the city, Paula did. Wow. And so,
That's amazing.
So Adam Rouse has accepted her old position. And so with that, I'm going to throw it over to Adam. He's got a few updates for you on the rec side.
See if I remember how to use this. Is that working?
Yep.
There we go. It's been a while since I've been here. So, yeah, just excited to be in the superintendent role. Been with the city now almost 20 years, the last 10 or 11 in that rec coordinator role, and been working towards this for longer than that. So just super excited, very thankful for the confidence, vote of confidence, from Bill and from you all too. So I'll go quick through my list. So if you have any questions, then please stop me. We'll just go over some of the changes that we've started to make. Just I think I got the promotion just about 4 weeks ago. And we've started to streamline some of our processes that were a little bit antiquated and old. So taking all of our timesheet stuff online, doing all our deposit stuff online. We purchased an online registration system, in 2019, that was capable of doing all of our team sites, our rosters, our schedules, and all of that. But we had been only using it just for the registration piece. So this year for our baseball program, we started using that to do everything, and it just made it far more efficient for us as a staff, and then also for our volunteer coaches, just made it a lot easier for them to get information out to people and for people to have access to information through the website instead of all paper copy stuff, which is what we used to do. So as far as program stuff, like I said, a baseball program's underway. We had a really good turnout with that. One of the ones I'm most excited about was our golf program, which we talked about in that budget workshop a little bit. But we went from 20 kids 2 years ago to 80 kids with a partnership with Coeur d'Alene Public last year to this year
increasing that partnership when we took almost 200 kids, and we took most of those kids in the first 3 days that we had the offering open. So a super, super cool program, good partnership with those guys. Same with our pickleball lessons we do with the Northwest Pickleball Association. Same thing, we took about 175 people for lessons only in the spring. So those partnerships are a really good source of revenue without a lot of staff time required on our part, because they're utilizing their own volunteers to do that stuff. We're working on new contracts and MOUs with all of our user groups. So like Junior Tackle, Coeur d'Alene Little League, American Legion, a lot of those contracts have been expired for quite some time. So Bill and I actually just had a meeting with NIC as well about the use of Memorial. That's one of those that'll fall under that. But just bringing those all up to date time-wise and then fee-wise. One of the ones that I was looking at was our Junior Tackle one that expired in 2002, and we were only collecting $50 from them, which is far too little for the impact that they have on the park system and all of that. So some of that stuff will be coming down, it'll take a bit to get them all worked out and everything, but should be a good thing. And then lastly, on my list anyway, is the Jewett House. So one of the things that's kind of near and dear to my heart, because I took that over maybe 5 years ago, came in under budget on our new garage project that included some new restrooms. So now we don't have to have these wedding guests use porta potties, which has been a really, really big selling point. But we came in under budget on that project by quite a bit. So we were able to have our street department redo the driveway, expand the parking lot, left money to do some electrical upgrades. So we got off of the old knob and tube wiring. So when gals were plugging in curling irons, that kind of stuff, they're not on the old knob and tube stuff. Did some house painting, and then we just did 2 weeks ago, the parks guys have been doing Wednesdays where they send the whole crew of people to a certain location. So they went down there I think it was 2 weeks ago, and just did a whole bunch of work, dress up work and fertilizing and all of that. So it's looking really, really good, and that leads to our revenue account with the house being in really, really good shape. So right before Bonnie Jensen retired, 3 weeks ago, we were looking at the account, and she made the comment that there's far more money in that Jewett House account than there ever has been, which is good, that we've been able to pay for some big projects and still have that revenue there. So
We were able to take some of those revenues that Adam was talking about. We had a problem with our sewer line a year ago, and we were able to not impact the general fund at all. We were able to make those repairs, and the sewer line had a belly in it, so it wasn't draining properly. So we went in and dug it all up, and then also put a clean out in the yard that wasn't there before. So it's great. He's doing a great job, and the revenues, and we'll let that build, and we'll continue to do upgrades to the house as we see we need to. Like if in the future we're talking a little bit about maybe painting it here in another few years, but right now we got to pressure wash it and some things like that. So it's nice that we were able to get these revenues and hold them in an account that's specifically for the Jewett House.
Great. Mike?
Yes, just a quick question. Junior golf. I saw that there was a lot of activity out at the Coeur d'Alene Public Golf Course, and they told me that was in conjunction with our rec department. Yeah. From your perspective, how did it go?
it's been going, so we're 2 lessons in out of a bank of 4. So we're starting another one next Monday, and then we do one in August. But it's been great. It's the Friends of Coeur d'Alene Public nonprofit that helps support the golf course. So they're helping run it, and I think we're at maybe 1 instructor per 3 kids. But we utilize the practice facility down there below the driving range, which is plenty of space. We take 24 kids per time slot with 2 time slots each day. So it's been great. Yeah.
Okay, good. I'm glad to hear that.
Christie?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just want to acknowledge Paula Austin. You said 47 years? 42. So she needed to do 8 more years to match her father's service. But that's a lot of years between
Yes.
father and daughter.
Yeah.
And so then that leaves how many years that you have to do another 20? I'm terrible with my math. You got a lot of years, young man. Yeah, and you've already done 20. So anyway, I just want to acknowledge Paula's service and work and her, I'm sitting in her father's seat,
Yeah.
so,
It's nice.
Working on the rule of 106.
yeah. Yeah,
So there's a quick story. When, a few years back, she was up at her property on the river and with some of her relatives, and they were saying to her, kind of matter-of-factly, Paula, aren't you about, Rule 90? She goes, oh, no. And they said, wait, do the math. And she'd already been 5 years in at Rule 90 or 4 years in and didn't even, not even thinking about it.
wow.
Well, Adam, first of all, congratulations, and I want to thank you for taking over the Recreation Superintendent role. And it sounds like with what you've got coming up, you're going to have your hands full for a while. But again, thank you and congratulations. Any other questions for Adam or Bill? Okay, thank you. Are there any commissioner comments or announcements at this time? Okay,
Well, if I could, sorry, I don't
Christie?
mean to talk so much tonight, because we have some commissioners that have other things to do. I just want to say Atlas has been fabulous. I've spent quite a bit of time down there lately, and boy, it was packed yesterday. Too bad about the food truck, because that was a good burger.
Yeah, I was disappointed myself, but we'll get somebody else.
But the ice cream, Sugar Shack, everybody go see Sugar Shack. And who is the coffee vendor?
There, I can't remember the name of that one.
I hate to leave them out, but. Go get her, yay. Well, I just encourage everyone to get down to those trucks and have something.
Yeah.
It's good stuff.
good. Now is the time we typically have our public comments, but since we don't have any public with us tonight, we'll move on to the next agenda item. And that would be the Parker Subaru naming rights action item. I'll go ahead and read the staff report, and I guess you can pick it up from there, Bill, and kind of fill it in. The decision point tonight, should the Parks and Recreation Commission recommend to the City Council that the city enter into a contribution agreement for a 10-year term with Parker Subaru for naming rights at the Cherry Hill Park pickleball courts. With private and public partnerships becoming more and more prevalent and necessary, we saw an opportunity to help offset some park costs and create greater public opportunities. On December 5th, 2023, City Council approved the Memorandum of Understanding with the Inland Northwest Pickleball Club for the construction of the new pickleball courts at Cherry Hill Park. The club raised funds through donations and sponsorships to build the upgrades, including an $85,000 donation by Parker Subaru, in exchange for which it will receive naming rights per a contribution agreement. The city is not required to provide any matching funds to accept this donation. The donation from Parker Subaru would go toward the construction of the pickleball courts, and in exchange, Parker Subaru will receive naming rights recognizing Parker Subaru as the major sponsor at the Cherry Hill pickleball courts. Naming rights are managed by the Panhandle Parks Foundation. The construction and installation of a sign identifying the courts will be done by the club's contractor, Silver Creek Signs, without charge to the city. Again, the decision point of recommendation tonight, should the Parks and Recreation Commission recommend to the City Council that the city enter into a contribution agreement for a 10-year term with Parker Subaru for naming rights at the Cherry Hill Park pickleball courts.
So moved.
Anything to add, Bill?
No, other than I've got the sign here to look at. You can see what it is.
Okay.
I didn't elaborate in my staff report, but we've done this here at McEwen at the Avista Pavilion, the Rotary Harbor House. SS Quantus is a feature that's here in our water park. Thorco Field is another example of that. Thorco's been really great to work with. There are times that we need their services, and Jim's really good about coming out. And what we do, rather than charge us, he'll actually add an extension on his naming rights out there at Thorco Field at Ramsey. So it's a really good partnership. But this is what the sign would look like, and the location of said sign is going to be right about there. So they're working with Kelly over there in the municipal services about sign code and all that stuff, and that's where it's going. I initially thought it might be closer to Hazel, But it's kind of busy over there, and this way you can see it real well, and it'll bring people down this road, and then we'll wind around to the courts themselves. So it's
That's
pretty
kind of-
cut and dry.
That's kind of the main driveway approach to get into the adjacent parking to
Right.
the courts, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. Any questions for Bill?
I would second Bridget's motion.
Okay, there's been a motion by
Thank you.
Commissioner Hill, seconded by Commissioner Tate, to recommend to the city council that the city enter into a contribution agreement for a 10-year term with Parker Subaru for naming rights at the Cherry Hill Park pickleball courts. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Unanimously approved, Bill. Does that go to,
Well, it would have gone Monday, but Monday we have another budget hearing, so I think that Public Works and General Services has been canceled. It'll probably go directly to council.
very good. Okay, our next item is Atlas Mill Park, new vendor location, also an action item. Decision point is whether to approve a new location at Atlas Park for a passive water sports rental. Atlas Park is Coeur d'Alene's newest waterfront park, and it already sees a large amount of use by visitors. The park was constructed with an area built especially for 4 food trucks to operate from Memorial Weekend through Labor Day. But we did not consider a location for the public to have passive water sports rental. This would be similar to the vendor that we have at Independence Point. If approved, this would be advertised for bids this summer and with the agreement to begin in the 2025 season. The minimum set bid is $3,000 per season, which would run from Memorial Day to Labor Day. A passive water sports vendor would provide a service to the public that we do not provide. It is in a good location in a busy area and visible to daily park visitors and new visitors. The lease agreements will require the vendors to keep the area neat and clean and also impose additional requirements on the vendors consistent with other similar city contracts. A decision point whether to approve a new location at Atlas Park for a passive water sports rental.
So I was out there looking around with where we have the food court, and we never thought about the water aspect, right? And so, you can't see my little blue dot, but that would be the location for a vendor to place a prefab building there as a booth. And the person could set their kayaks or boards up here and be able to launch here. Additionally, with a vendor here, our ADA kayak launches dock is not out yet. It was damaged this winter. It's in being repaired right now. But when it's up and running, this person can help folks as well. So we talked to them about that. If they've got somebody who may be ADA and they might want some assistance, or anybody who needs assistance, doesn't necessarily have to be ADA. Anybody can use this launch system. But it'd be nice to have eyes and boots on the ground, so to speak, that might be able there to be able to help our customers. Our vendors have always been good about that. Even though they're not a customer of the vendor, they're a customer of our parks. They've always been very informative, and that's one of the things we ask them that they do. So we'd do the same with this vendor as well. And other than that, it's pretty cut and dry as well. There's not anything. It's a great location for it. I think a person would do well there, and we'll see how it goes this spring.
Easy access off the parking area to get their equipment down there, so.
Right, yeah, it's right. We designed that where the ADA stalls are right here, and so the ADA ramp is all compliant. All through here is ADA access.
Any questions for Bill? Any discussion or a motion?
I
Yes, I would just make a comment. I think this is a great addition to the amenities offered at the park, and I think it'd be a great thing to add.
Yeah, we
So
hope
I
so.
would make a motion to approve the new location, or to recommend approval, if you will, of the new location at Atlas Park for passive water sports rentals.
Second.
Perfect.
Motion's been made by Commissioner McDowell and seconded by Commissioner Tate to recommend approval of a new location at Atlas Park for passive water sports rentals. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Other unanimous approval, Bill, and I
Thank you.
guess that will
It'll go with the
follow
other
on the
one.
previous
Yep.
one right to
Yep.
city council?
Correct.
Okay. Our last action item tonight is the pump-out agreement. The decision tonight, should City Council approve a donation agreement with Kootenai County for the Santa Sailor pump-out at the city's mooring docks. The pump-out station has been at the city's mooring dock since 2001 and has been maintained by the county staff. The recent installation of the boats garage has made it difficult for the counties to access the pump-out station. The county therefore retired the pump-out and has no further use for it. There are two reasonable options available. One, remove the pump-out station, or two, have city staff take over the maintenance of the pump-out. There is no cost to the city for the approval of this donation. We may incur some costs for maintenance and repairs in the future, for instance, hose replacement. Any costs will be paid by the Parks Capital Improvement Fund, should be paid for by the Parks Capital Waterfront Improvement Fund. The pump-out is valued at less than $10,000. The boating community has come to expect and rely on the pump-out station. By the city assuming the maintenance and repair responsibility for the pump-out at the mooring docks, this public service can continue. Again, the decision point of recommendation should recommend council should approve the donation agreement with Kootenai County for the Santa Sailor pump-out at the city's mooring docks.
So Nick Snyder contacted me after we put in the boathouse, like I said in my staff report. They have a very large barge boat that they work off of, and they couldn't get to it. So the options were to remove it or us to take over maintenance. The maintenance for us is not that big of a deal. It's just winterizing that to make certain that all the things are turned off, and then we remove the hose. So he's his team has met with our team, Jared Odell, on how this operation works. It's tied directly into our sewer line, so there's nothing to it, us maintaining it, other than if the pump should go out, we may have to some costs incurred with that. But other than that, it's pretty simple to take care of.
Is it getting pretty regular use?
It does, yeah.
Ginny?
Is there any fee charged to use it?
Say it again?
Is there a fee charged
Nope.
to use it?
No, it's free.
So I see it as a real public benefit, encouraging the public using it versus alternative methods, so it's
Absolutely.
protecting
Well
the
stated,
water
Commissioner.
and, yeah, if not anticipating a lot of operation costs, and it
No.
could be covered by our waterfront
Correct.
fund.
Right.
I'd make a motion that council should approve the donation agreement with Kootenai County for the Santa Sailor pump-out at the city's mooring docks.
Second.
Motion's been made by Commissioner Tate. And Christie, did you second that?
second, yep.
Yep. Seconded by Commissioner Wood, to recommend the council should approve the donation agreement with Kootenai County for the Santa Sailor pump-out at the city's mooring docks. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Well, Bill, you brought us some relatively easy ones
I
tonight.
did. I did try and keep it easy for you guys.
Good. Any other comments or announcements for the cause here?
No, Nick came into my office, a good one, a bit ago, and for next month, he'd like to bring you an update on the Canfield fuel mitigation. So, and we've got a little more update on the Tubbs Hill fuel mitigation as well. Their president was in my office this morning asking to look at the grant that we written and with the county. And so he actually sent that to them today, so it refreshed my memory, and he came in and said that they're getting closer on the Canfield. The work would be done more into the fall, and it'd be very similar. I think I've shared this with you before. The Fernan work that we had done, it'd be similar to that sort of work.
That's a good project.
Christie?
One quick question. Bill, it looks like crews are almost done with the extra parking near the croc, the trail by the croc.
It is done, actually. It went out today. I saw a heads up. Maybe you didn't see it yet.
I didn't
but
see it
yeah,
yet.
Yeah, so
So
there's
it's
some nice
open?
pictures of it, yeah.
Will there be any sort of buffer with rocks or something in between the parking lot and the trail?
Nick and I talked that a little bit. We have plenty of stone to do that if we're concerned about people coming into the parking lot and driving on the trail.
Well, and it's just a bunch of nasty dirt right now.
Well, right now it will be, and Todd asked me about hydro seeding. We have a hydro seeder, but we are not going to hydro seed this time of year. So we'll seed it this fall with a dry land mix because we don't have any irrigation over there. So
Right.
it's going to look a little rough for a little while, but when we
Sure.
get some seed on it, it'll look better.
And how many parking spots are there?
22 plus 2 handicap.
Great. Well, good job.
Yeah.
Any other comments? Okay, I'll make the last comment then, and just announce that our next regular Parks and Rec Commission meeting will be Monday, August 19th, right here at 5:30 in the library community room. With that, I'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion's been made by Commissioner Lean and seconded by Commissioner McDowell to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, everybody.